Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500, and welcome back to another new project day. We now have 4 cars. One of them is going to be finished today and hopefully be gone by the weekend, but this is a new one that I've picked up today. This is a car from BCA. It's not a cat car, it's not a damaged car. Let me show you what we've got. Okay, there it is. So what we have here is a 2015, I think it's a 15, facelift pop. So not a lounge, but a pop. So entry level. So this is one of the very first facelifts. So it's going to be late 2015. Because that's when they came out. The vast majority of pops are 16 onwards. This, I believe, I'm not sure which month it was registered, but this is one of the very, very early ones. So, what have we got? Let's have a look around it first of all. So, as I say, this is an undamaged car. It has come from BCA in Crawley, and I've just gone and picked it up this morning. Driven it home from Crawley, and it drives beautifully, absolutely beautifully. One thing that did happen on the way home was it came up with a brake pad light. So it said check brake pads. That was just after I'd braked a roundabout. So chances are either the wires come off or it needs new brake pads. I'll have to check the MOT and see if there was anything on there about that. It's MOT, I can't remember when it's MOT'd until, it's a long MOT, so I'm not going to get it re-MOT'd. It's not a cat car, so I've got no repairs to do. There is a couple of little bits on it just to bring it up to standard that needs to be done, but we'll show you all those in a minute. With BCA, we all moan about Copart and how bad they are at describing things and hiding things and stuff like that. BCA are the complete opposite. I'm so impressed with BCA. I'm sure the wheels come off sometimes, but so far, everything they describe, especially bits of bodywork, they describe it in infinite detail and show every little mark. They've done it on another car before and there was no marks there at all. The same on this. There is a couple of little marks on it, but nothing to speak of. I'll show you a couple of them. One of them you can't see, you can only feel it, but it's very, very little. Let's show you around the car and we can see exactly what needs to be done. It's less than a day's work to get this back on the road, apart from the brakes, of course, got to do those, but yeah, less than a day's work. Let's spin you around and show you what we got. So looking at the front, it's come from Evans Hallshaw. I think we haven't got a service history book. I haven't looked yet, but according to the listing, it said that there was a printout, and I think it was a service some time ago. I think it's not a previous write-off. However, it has had some bodywork done. Excuse me. It has had some bodywork done on it, which will become evident in a minute when I show you. We'll come to that in a minute, but. Front wise, there's no stone chips, there's no scratches, there's nothing on here at all. Everything works, everything lines up nicely. Obviously, because it's a pop, it hasn't got alloys, but it's got a fairly new set of decent wheel trims. So I'm just going to leave those alone and leave them on it. Price wise, we'll come to how much I paid for it in a minute. I'm not sure how much to sell it for. I'll have to make a decision on that. I haven't looked online yet to see what they're going for. So just straight away, let me just say first of all, there's good tyres all round. They're virtually new all the way around. One little bit that needs dressing is down here. We've had this on Project Peanut recently, where the paint's coming off there. Just needs a little bit of rubbing down and repairing. It's the same on the other side as well. That was obviously picked up on BCA on their walk around. Coming down the side, this is a condition 4, I think, or was it a 5? Why it's quite so bad, I don't know, because I mean, they've marked little things like this, which that will just come off. I don't think that's even a scratch. I think that's just tar, same as all these other marks are just tar. Obviously they'll come off straight away, with no problem. Sorry about that, there's a delivery for my Nespresso coffee just turned up. So yeah, looking at this side of the car, there is nothing on it at all, as I say, apart from those little marks there, which will come off with the old tar remover. Rear quarter, nothing whatsoever. The roof is all good, there's no dents or anything. The lights are all good. The tailgate's all good. I don't need new number plates on it. They're fine. I'll probably replace the screws, but apart from that, they're all fine. No dents, no scratches on here. The bumper has got a couple of little marks on it, and the only other thing it has got is some stress marks here. Now, what I'm probably going to do, rather than painting this, I'm going to get one of those things to put over the top of it. They're about 23 quid, something like that. So I'm going to get one of those. If we look in the boot, we've got a set of mats, which again are okay, and I'll probably just give them a clean, but we got one of these, so for some reason they must have bought 5 of these, or they can't count one. But there's a brand new one there, but there's nothing wrong with the ones that are on the car. Just needs a bit of a clean around here. It's all a bit gunky, as they always are, so that'll just get a good jet wash. We've got the parcel shelf, which sometimes are missing at BCA, but we've got it on this, so that's all good. Moving around to this side, we'll just quickly show you down here. Again, we got, as I say, we got that little mark there. It's nothing, it's not bad there actually. You can barely see it. As I say, this is what I mean about BCA. There's barely anything that they mark stuff that is barely even visible. Tiny little scratch there. It's nothing. We'll touch that up with a little bit of paint. Now I think this side has had some work done on it. Reason being, the gap between that door, as you go down the door, it gets a bit thinner. So I think this has probably had a new wing. And looking here, it's a little bit low there. See what I mean? That's a little bit low. So I think it's either had a new door or it's had work done on it, one or the other. It opens and closes absolutely fine. So I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm leaving it like that. I'm not going to start adjusting hinges or anything. And then what they pointed out, which I'm surprised they even saw, to be honest, because if you move around it, you cannot see it. If you feel it, just here, you can feel the paint is a bit speckly. As you get to there, it evens out. Just there is absolutely fine. Down there is fine. So it's just a little bit in here. So that's obviously had a repair done there. Anything, any telltale signs in the door jamb? No, nothing. No telltale signs there. So yeah, so I reckon it's had a prang this side at some point, but as I say, it's not recorded. And again, this is another classic example of you buy a car that is not a cat car, and the chances are it had some damage in the past. This is yet another example, as several of them have been the same as this. So with that, there's a little chip there, so we'll touch those in, nothing much. And then what we'll do here is we'll wet sand this, and polish it up, and then that'll get rid of that. That's it. Apart from that, that's it. That's all I've got to do. As I say, I may have to do the brakes. What was this on here? Resident permit. Oh look, Community Recycling Centre, Surrey. They obviously forgot to take that off. Well, obviously we'll remove that. So I picked it up from Crawley this morning. Took me. I left home at 8:20. It took me an hour and 20 minutes to get to Croydon, and then it's 20 minutes on the train. It's £2 on the bus from the station to Crawley, but it was they're only once an hour, and there was 35 minutes to wait. So I had a look on Uber, and it was I think £9, £8, £7.90 or something on an Uber. So I called an Uber. Literally a minute and a half later, he turned up. So the train fare was 10 quid. So it's basically cost me £10 for the train. So it's cost me less than £20 to get it. And then obviously I've driven it home. It's got half a tank of petrol, which is good. Let's get inside, and we'll have a look at the inside, and I'll tell you what else I've already ordered that I'm going to put in this car. Right, so there's your mileage, 76,526. So higher than I would like, but you know, okay. 2015, so it is, what, 9 years old, isn't it? But yeah, although it's a pop, it has got the steering wheel controls. So the Pops do have steering wheel controls, they just don't have the Bluetooth. Obviously we've got a blank there, and we've got a blank just there. But we've still got volume, we've still got source and search buttons and so on. Now we've got the very, very early stereo in here, which is an orange display. Let me just turn it on. I'll have to turn sound down. Just turn the sound down. Turn that. Oh, I don't want to turn it off, I want to turn it down. Right, so you've got the orange display. Now it works perfectly fine, but of course no Bluetooth. So I thought what I would do is stick in a different stereo. Now I could have put a standard stereo, either a 5-inch or a 7-inch, like the 5-inch that I've just put into the car that had it smashed. But what I decided to do, because I've not done it before, is I've ordered a nice one from AliExpress. So the ones from AliExpress, as you know, we've done them in the other cars, in the pre-facelift cars before, which are okay. But I think the ones that come for this car, for the facelift cars, are nicer. They are 7-inch, so unfortunately I've got to replace this, because this surround is for a 5-inch. And unfortunately I've not found one less than about 75 quid. So I'm looking on eBay still, but there just don't seem to be any that are less than 75 quid. There is one with cream, which is actually, at the moment, is 15 quid, which ends this evening. So, you know, that might, but that obviously is cream, so that's of no use whatsoever. So I've got to get one of those. And then what we'll do, I'm hoping that within the book pack, we might have a code for this, or it might be written, the code might be written on the top of it, like it was on the other one that I've got. So that's cleared customs. It's in the UK, cleared customs, so that should be with me within the next few days. So being a facelift, we do have a traction control. Of course, it's got start-stop. But of course, no aircon, being a Pop. We've got a USB socket and an aux socket. Now, I don't know, when I put this new stereo in, I don't know whether that's going to make them redundant or not. It might work, because generally you plug them in using the same plugs. So I'll try it. So when I install that, what I'm going to do is do a completely separate video on installing, because I've never seen a video on YouTube for anyone installing an aftermarket stereo in a facelift. So mine might be the first. There probably are some out there, but so rather than including it within the video for the car, I'll do it as a separate one. So yeah, the seats are not dirty, they don't even need a clean, so I'm not going to be cleaning them. I'll give it a quick hoover, although it is really clean inside. We've got a book pack, which I haven't looked at yet, so I don't know what's in here. We've got the second key, got the logbook there. The only book we seem to have is the handbook, unfortunately, no service book. Now I think it did say, actually, which obviously means as well, we got no code for the stereo either. I'm just going to get the stuff out that's in there, because I don't want to show you any addresses that might be on there. So let me just get that out. And I'm hoping there should be a printout for a service, just the one, I think. I'll be back in a sec. Let me just get that out. Right, we have one invoice here. I think it's just the one. So this was done on the 28th of July 2022, so it's not that long ago. It had a full service. What was the mileage then? Mileage was 45,000, so it's done quite a few miles in the last 2 years. 45, and it's now, what was it, 76. So it's done 30,000 miles, or 29,000 miles in the last 2 years, which is under average. So it had full service. It had oil filter, air filter, pollen filter. It didn't have a pollen filter. It hasn't got a pollen filter. Oh no, that's why it says 0. Didn't have a pollen filter, because it's a Pop. Doesn't have no, they don't. You only have a pollen filter if you've got aircon. So they haven't replaced that. Free brake check. New wiper blades, which are on there now. It says Valeo on there, but this says Aerodeck, so I don't know if it's Valeo Aerodecks or Aerodeck Valeos. Free wheel alignment. So the wipers were 30 quid. I suppose it's about right. So that came to £239. So that's not too bad. So at least we know it was serviced then. Just a shame there's no... I'll show that. that's all we've got. So no service book, which isn't a problem. Of course, I've got service books, so I can get them stamped up. So I will have to chase the service up. No locking wheel nuts keys, because obviously it doesn't have locking wheel nuts. There's nothing else in the car whatsoever. That is it, apart from that little air freshener thing there, which we'll obviously throw away. Doesn't smell in here. It's not been smoked in. Everything's clean. Back seats don't even look like they've been sat in. Everything is really, really clean. It's just going to need a bit of a dust. That's all. It's a bit dusty here, but yeah, that's it. So very, very, very little to do. So I'm quite looking forward to putting that stereo in. Hopefully it'll be a plug and play, because I want to be able to sell that stereo, because the stereo I've bought has cost me, including taxes, because when you get the AliExpress price, they add on taxes. I think it was free delivery. I think it was about £92, which is less than it would cost me for a replacement one, a little bit more modern, or about the same. Probably a bit less. As I say, I have got to buy the surround, which is a bit annoying. But you know, c'est la vie. If I put it in and it's a load of crap, then I'll take it back out again. But I think it's going to be good. As I say, they do look nicer. In fact, I'll show you a picture of the one that I've bought now, so you can see what it actually looks like when it's installed in the car. As you can see, it looks the business. So they've got wireless Apple CarPlay. They never seem to have, the earliest one I did had DAB. They don't seem to, none of them seem to have DAB anymore. You can use DAB Plus via one of the USB sockets on it. I don't know if it's going to have trailing leads like the pre-facelift ones do. But you can use DAB Plus, but I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to, it's got RDS, FM, it's got Wi-Fi, etc., etc. It's got GPS, so it'll probably, hopefully, come with a GPS antenna, which I can mount. I may need to get a new aerial. Not on the journey home, it didn't have fantastic radio reception. Here on the drive, I'm getting Capital Radio fine. But my journey, once I got off the M25, I should have decent coverage for Capital, and it was a while. It was almost not far from being home before it actually was a strong signal. So it is a standard aerial. So I think I'm probably just going to replace it. It looks quite new, to be fair. I'll stick the new stereo in first and see what it's like. If it is a bit ropey, then I'll put a new one on. It might be the original, but it does look fairly new, to be honest. So I reckon it's been replaced at some point. Cost. So I didn't really do much in the way of research beforehand on what they're going for. And I just I didn't even really have a price in my head. You know what it's like, you know, you think, oh yeah, I might get this for 1,200 quid, and then it goes up and it goes up and it goes up. And with BCA, of course, unlike Copart, where you can bid along, you can't do that on BCA, it's all live bidding. So I didn't really know what I was going to go for. Now, I think I was only bidding against one other person. It was quite furious bidding, and with BCA, because you have to swipe to bid, and the bidding is so furious, unlike Copart, which you know you're the winning bidder, sometimes you don't realise, and it ended, and I wasn't even sure whether I'd won it or not. It went on to the next one so quickly, and it wasn't until I'd done 2 or 3 refreshes on the app that it came up and said I've won it. So the hammer price I won it for was £1,800, and out of the door it was 2,200. So spend-wise, I will service it, so I allow £60. Oh, yeah, no, it does need a service. I haven't checked the oil or anything like that. We'll have a look under the bonnet in a minute, actually. So we haven't done that yet. So I will service it. I always allow £60 for service costs, so oil, air filter, oil filter. It doesn't need wipers. I can see they're fairly new. They may be the ones from 2022. It doesn't need to clean much inside, so I've got to spend no money on the inside. Obviously, I've spent the money on the stereo. I've got to buy the surround, so let's say £170 for the stereo and the surround. May have to do the brakes, so probably another 50 or 60 quid on the brakes. Let's say 225. Paint, I've got paint already. There's no cost implication for that. 25 quid for that thing across the back. That's probably about it. I've got 2 keys. I don't need to have another key cut. Got a service book. They're about £5, something like that. So probably somewhere between £250 and £300. Now I could get away without spending any money whatsoever. Well, apart from the brakes and whatever. I could leave that stereo in, but I just thought as a pop, it just makes it a little bit more sellable with a nice stereo in there, which gives you Bluetooth. You know, you can have you've got your microphone and so on and so forth. Modernises it a little bit more, doesn't it? Because this is obviously more modern than pre-facelift stereo, but it is the basic one. So I think it's money well spent, and I like to make the cars as nice as I can. So I will crack on and do those bits of bodywork, which are nothing basically. Got the logbook, so I don't need to send off for the logbook. So basically I will turn this around in next to no time, in a day easily. I need to get the wheels off, check the brakes, do those if necessary. Hopefully I won't need to do the discs as well. Hopefully it's just the pads. Don't need to MOT it. I haven't got any MOTs there. I need to print out the MOT history as I've got the logbook, and we'll have a look. And I can't for the life of me remember, so I'll let you know before the end of the video. In fact, I'll post here when it's MOT'd until. Let's pop the bonnet and we'll have a look under the bonnet. Don't know battery wise and how old the battery is or anything like that, so let's just go and have a quick look. Right, here we go. So looking at this, it's got the original battery in it, which is fine. Needs a clean up under here. Something I did forget to look at before, and something I just obviously didn't realise in the when I was just talking about the costs, is the cam belt has not been done by the looks of things. Now there is a sticker of some sort on there. Now what is that, I wonder? And it's got that mark on it, but that sticker I think is stuck, well and truly stuck. Don't think that's been off. Let me just, no, that's wet. I don't reckon that has been off. Looks clean under there, doesn't it? So I would say from that the cam belt's not been done. Obviously I will chase up the service history and double check that, but I think to be on the safe side, unless I can evidence that it has been done, I think we're going to do it. Which will cost me £200 or 190 something, I think it is, for a pop. Because the aux belt is cheaper. Actually, let's have a look at that aux belt. Let's get a torch. Because obviously, generally, people will change the aux belt at the same time as the cam belt. I just want to see how old it looks. Quite dusty under here. Don't know. Certainly not new. It doesn't look cracked or anything. I know it's only the aux belt, but yeah, it's difficult to know, isn't it, really? But I think we have to assume. I mean, you know, they can be stuck back, but because that looks so clean, I don't think that's been done. So I think we're going to have to do it, just to be on the safe side. It's this mark that always makes me wonder. So I don't know, but yeah, I think we need to err on the side of caution. It's a 11-year-old car with 70 what was it, 76,000, 74,000, whatever it is, and I can't see that the cam belt's been done. So it's well overdue if that's the case. So when I do me chasing the service history, if I can't say that yes, it's been done by a garage telling me yeah, we did the cam belt, I'm going to get it done. Again, I'm not going to do it myself. I'm going to get it done because this is going to be a quick turnaround. So I shall get. I'll start chasing the service history up today, I think, and then if I can't evidence it, I'll give Glenn, the mechanic, who I haven't seen for a while. I haven't needed him for a while. I'll get him to come and do it. Cost of what I'm going to sell it for. Let me just jump back in the car and we'll have a little chat about that. And I'm not really sure. I've got a figure in my head, but as I say, I haven't done any research yet. So it is a bit dirty in here, isn't it? Oh, actually, let's have a look at the oil. Oh, it's a bit on the black side. Well, as oil is, but could do with some. Actually, it's a bit low. I'm not going to top it up because I'm going to service it, of course. We'll have a look at the air filter as well and change that if necessary. Sometimes I change it anyway, don't I? Yeah, but bottom arms and all that. I don't think there's... We'll look at the service history, the MOT history rather, and see what's going on with that. But let's just jump back in and we'll talk about price. Right, so I always sort of aim for somewhere between £800 and £1,000 per car profit. Now, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes it's like £500 or £600, but generally I like to try and make somewhere between £800 and £1,000 on a car. Now, so this has cost me £2,200 to out the door. £200. So we're going to probably spend, with the cam belt, the new stereo, the other bits and pieces we already talked about. So we're probably going to spend somewhere around the £400 mark to get it up to scratch. Probably don't need to spend that. Cam belt needs to be done. So that takes it up to about 2.7. 2.6, let's say 2.6. Now I'm thinking of 3.5. As I say, I've not looked, bearing in mind it's not a cat car. If it was a cat car, I'd still probably, as a facelift, I'd still probably be looking at £3,000, to be honest. So I don't know what they're going to be going for. This sort of mileage, what was it, 76.5, yeah. So this sort of mileage, this sort of age, non-cat car, we'll have a look. See what they're going for, but that's the figure I've got in my head, 3.5. Whether that's realistic or not. So if that's the case, just looking at that bonnet, it looks like there might be a couple of little dents in the bonnet. Yeah, I think there is. We might have to try and pull those out. Yeah, it's definitely a couple of little dents in that bonnet, which I hadn't noticed before. So, yeah, 3.5, without looking. As I say, that's just a figure I've got in my head, so I don't know. I will let you know when we get on to the next video. I only anticipate having one video on this, apart from this walk around, because there's not much to do, is there? And of course, as I said, we'll have a separate video for the stereo, but that won't be part of this series. It'll be a separate video completely. So if you want to watch that, obviously I'll give you the link to that anyway. So that's it for the time being. So if you look at the number plate, I'm looking at Boggs, B-O, well, I know it's a G, but it looks like Boggs. And then the last bit looks like 5HHT, looks like shit. Boggs shit. So we've got to have something toilet related, I think, for the name of this car. So I'm not quite sure what to call it, but I'll think of something before we upload the video. But something toilet related. Quite a bit of an unfortunate number plate, isn't it, really? Yeah, so that is it on this, on the walk around. That is your walk around. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think I should charge. I sell it for. Again, I say I will go and check now and have a look online and see what they're going for this age and mileage, undamaged cars. But let me know your thoughts. Cracking little car, I think. You never know with BCA. You never know with Copart. Generally, I think the BCA cars are pretty good, especially if they've come from We Buy Any Car, because that's people who just want to trade it in quickly and get the cash for it for whatever reason. Bearing in mind, I bought it for 1.8 as the hammer price. How much did they get given? I dread to think how much they were given by We Buy Any Car for this. It's just shocking, really. There is an email address there for the owner. I'm tempted to contact them and ask them, but no, maybe I won't. No. Anyway, that's it for your walk around. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Look forward to your comments. Until the next one, don't forget, you nearly forgot them, hit the button, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up. The numbers are still going up, slowly but surely. We're about 10,500 now, or just shy of 10,500 subscribers. So again, as always, thank you to everybody who's subscribed. Although there's still over 50% of you who are not subscribers. So please, 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 please subscribe to the channel. Really helps out. So yeah, as always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Until the next one, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.